Even a small finger, you can't stick it in water. So you're not allowed to wash yourself on Yom Kippur. We only wash our hands. We wash our hands just till here on Yom Kippur, unless if there's something specifically dirty, you can wash it, but you can't actually pour water and put your hands on the faucet.
And what's the
The Torah says you're supposed to kind of remove yourself from physical things for the day. So that's how, one of the ways the Torah, one of the ways the tradition of what the Torah means. A king and a bride can wash their face. A bride who's got married in the last few days before Yom Kippur, she can wash her face, so she doesn't look bad to her husband. When they just got married, they're all excited. And a king has to look respectable. And and how long are you called a bride for? A bride is for 30 days after you get married. Someone who, let's say they're dirty with something dirty, they can wash that place that's dirty regularly. And a lady can wash one hand in water and to feed her child. And a sick person can wash himself, even though it's not dangerous. And anyone who needs to go to mikvah can go to mikvah, whether on Tisha B'Av or on Yom Kippur. All right. That is law number one. So that is actually a very, every morning you're supposed to wash your hands. We only wash our hands till here because you're not allowed to wash your hands otherwise. You're not allowed to stick them under the sink after you use the restroom, whatever it is. So, okay, someone who sees an emission on nowadays on Yom Kippur at night, if it's wet, then he should wipe it, and that's enough. And if it's dry, he should wash that place and then daven. If you have that on your skin, you're not supposed to daven. You cannot wash your whole body to go to mikvah because even nowadays you're not fully pure.
so you have a slichas?
I have it on my phone. I have to find it.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have one.
All right, but you say it after. You say it in davening today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and so now washing yourselves is going to mikvah is a minhag, and a minhag doesn't take away that it's forbidden to wash yourself. Okay, it's a custom. Okay. All right. So nowadays, basically, we don't wash ourselves at all. We don't take showers. We don't wash ourselves at all on Yom Kippur. Let's say you have like some dirt on you or some clay or whatever that's very, very wet. That if you touch it, you'll have moisture, and if you there's here it literally means like cement. That if you put your hand on it and you'll pick it up, you'll touch it, you'll get it on your hand, and you touch your other hand, it'll go on your other hand. So then you can't sit on it because you're getting wet. A person shouldn't fill up a bucket with water. And shouldn't fill up a earthenware vessel with water because the water goes out of the water will go over on the person, and so he wants to do it to cool something off, put something in to cool something off, so now the water will go over and wash him. So, but you can cool down fruit. You cool yourself down with fruit. Okay. A person could take a kerchief on Erev Yom Kippur and dip it in water and then dry it a little bit and put it under his clothing, and the next day he can take it up, wipe his face, and we're not worried even though it's still moist. If you're going to greet your rabbi or your father or someone who's really great in wisdom, or you're going to go teach in the study hall, you can go into water until your neck, and we're not worried. And you can do a mikvah. So this is, you got to go through a river or something, and you could do a mitzvah and return through the water. That if we don't allow you to return, you won't go, and then you won't do the mitzvah. And similarly, you can go to watch your produce and go to water until your neck. We're not worried as long as you don't take out as long as you don't take out your hands from under your garments the way you do it in weekdays. Okay, you're not allowed to wear shoes on Yom Kippur, right? So shoes we consider are leather shoes. That's what we consider leather shoes. So we don't wear leather shoes on Yom Kippur. Even on one foot, you can't tie it on even on one foot. However, you can go from other materials, right? And you can put a vessel, you could put like a cloth on your foot and go out with that, because you'll feel the ground, and you'll feel like you are actually going barefoot. Little kids, even though they can eat and drink, we don't put shoes on them. So on Yom Kippur, if you're unaware, Yom Kippur we don't wear leather shoes on the night and day of Yom Kippur. Okay. A person could wear shoes if he needs to do it, if he knows that there's snakes or scorpions in that place, in order that he won't be bitten. And a lady who just gave birth can wear shoes because she has to keep herself extra warm for 30 days. And someone who is sick, even though that's not dangerous, they can wear shoes. You cannot rub your body with oils, whether part of your body or whole body. Part of your body is like your whole body, whether it's for pleasure or not from pleasure. But if you're sick, even though it's not dangerous, or you have some kind of thing in your head, you can do it and we're not worried. There are places that where we light a candle on the night of Yom Kippur in order, you're not allowed to have marital relations on the night of Yom Kippur. In fact, the wife and the husband are in the status of nida. They're not supposed to touch at all. So there are places that leave a candle in order that they remind themselves that they can't have relations. And there's some places that they don't, because maybe they'll see their wife and they'll actually be attracted to her. However, if Yom Kippur, so there are different opinions regarding needing to light a candle in your house in Yom Kippur. However, the law is on Shabbos you have to light a candle on Yom Kippur, always. And that's the end of the laws of Yom Kippur. Any questions? So the laws of Yom Kippur are important to know is we don't wear shoes and we don't wash ourselves. And it's basically like Shabbos, and obviously we don't eat. Okay, let's do a little bit of laws of mezuzah. I know we're very late. We'll do a little bit of laws of mezuzahs. Okay, so we were talking about where exactly you need to put the mezuzah. We mentioned that if you have one doorpost is on the right side entering, one doorpost and a lintel, then you put a mezuzah. However, if it's on the left side entering, or there's no lintel, you don't put a mezuzah. And then we also mentioned that some opinions say that you only need a mezuzah if there's a door, actual door. And some say, now we hold that you always need a mezuzah in a doorway, even if there's no door. But it says because some opinions say you need a door, if you have a place that you're going to put a door, you should wait till after you put the door before you put the mezuzah. Then we said a house that's not like a set house, like a sukkah, for example. It's temporary, a tent, things like that. Or, you have like booths and stores, those don't need a mezuzah. Those are exempt from mezuzah. Number 15, achsadra, pavilion. What is a pavilion? Sheyesh la shalosh mechitzos. It has 3 walls. V'tikra al gabein. It's like a porch, right? It has a roof on top of it. Uprutzer revius, and the 4th side is totally open. Af al pi sheyesh la shtei petzim. And even though there are 2 side spots at the end of the 4th side, kamoitzer pesach, and it's similar to a doorway, p'tura mezuzah, it is exempt from mezuzah, right? Because the end of the wall, so you have 3 walls, right? Here, this end of the wall here, and this end of the wall here, and the whole 4th wall area is like a doorway, right? You have a roof, but they're not made for doorways, so they're exempt from mezuzahs. They are just made to hold up the roof. However, if the pavilion has a wall on the 4th side, even if the walls of the structure are low, and it doesn't reach the roof, even if the wall on all sides are made out of windows, then it requires a mezuzah. So we just basically said a specific case that so if it actually has any on the 4th side, then that causes it to be like doorways. So that's with regard to a porch. Base shar, yeah.
Would that be like a gazebo then, too?
A gazebo could technically apply. So again, if it has 3 walls, right? So the 4th wall doesn't have any sort of doorway or anything like that, but just happens to be that there's this 4th entrance, then that causes it that's not considered a doorway. But if it has something which makes it into a doorway in some way, like let's say even if you'd have two posts at the end, that would cause it to be like a mezuzah. Okay, mezuzah required doorway. Base shar, a gatehouse. Who buys katan eitzel shar chatz. This is a small house built adjacent to the gate of a courtyard. Shal shomer yeshuba, that a guard sits in. Omer pesas, and a balcony. Shoderch lalis ba'aliyah, through which one transcends to the upper floor. So here, the balcony, you go through there to the upper floor. Vagina and the garden, vadir and penfarim, and most patur mezuzah, they're all exempt from mezuzah. Kivin she'enim masurim l'dir, because they're not meant to live in. V'im yeshba bayis hachayv mezuzah. However, if there's a house or room that is required mezuzah, psuach lachem e'elu, that is open to one of the above, oilach sadra, or to pavilion, chayeves mezuzah, they require mezuzah. Af pesach shenichnas lam rishus harabim, even in the doorway that comes to the rishus harabim, the public domain. So let's say you have a one example is, let's say you have so you have this small entry house and no one lives in it, or a doorway into a garden, but no one lives in it. It doesn't need a mezuzah. But if the doorway in the garden leads to your house, then the doorway into the garden does need a mezuzah, right? So in other words, if you have a garden, you don't need a mezuzah. A mezuzah only needs to be in place that you live, right? However, if the doorway, so therefore, if you have a storage house or whatever it is, but you need to walk through there to get to your house, now that becomes obligated with mezuzah.
It has to be a structure with a roof? I mean, if you just
No,
have,
but it has to have a doorway, like a.
so if you had a fence with a gate, that gate needs.
If the gate has a lintel, if the gate has a.
So if it had like an arbor,
Correct.
then
But that's only, let's say if it's a park, it doesn't need a mezuzah. But if it's goes to your house, if that's how you enter to your house, you have to go in through your yard or through your farm, then suddenly it requires a mezuzah. Yeah. Okay, therefore, shari chatzeres, therefore gates going into courtyards, v'shar mavayis, gates going, and the gates of streets, v'shar medinas vayaris, and the gates of provinces and cities. Kulon chayav mezuzah, they all need mezuzah. Kim shabbatim chayav mezuzah p'suchim sechan, because the houses which are obligated in mezuzah are open to them. Afilo asara batan, the vavalach applies even to 10 houses or rooms, zeh p'such lazeh, v'zeh p'such lazeh. Even if you have 10 houses or rooms and they're all open to each other, afilo tisha chatzenes him begavnim p'tur, and even if the outside 9 are exempt from mezuzahs, because they don't have proper doorways, they were built without lintels or whatever it is, nevertheless, it requires that they all need a mezuzah. Anyone that is obligated needs a mezuzah. And therefore, a gate that's open from the garden to a courtyard, chayiv mezuzah. So let's say you have a really big property and it has any fence that you have to go through to get to your house, needs a mezuzah. V'yesh oimrim, others say, the base sharm passes a gatehouse and a balcony require mezuzah. Afil ein bayis p'sucham, even the house not open to them. V'yesh lekavam b'lei bracha, and therefore, if you have a balcony or you have a watchman house that no one's living in, he's just guarding there. Whenever he needs to guard, you should put up a mezuzah that he finishes off. You should put up a mezuzah because some say if it's a room that's possible to live in, it requires mezuzah. But because there's one opinion that says, hey, you're not living in there, you don't need mezuzah, there are certain rooms that you put a mezuzah up without a blessing. And the best thing is to put it up when you're making a blessing anyways on another place, and then just go there and put it up after. Let's just do one more and then we'll finish, because, okay, Beis HaMerchatz, a bathhouse, Ubvorski, a tannery, Ubeis HaTfili, the house of a mikvah, Peturim, they are exempt from mezuzah, Mipnei she'ein l'diras kavod, because they're not for dignified residence. Aval Rafis Bakar, but a cattle barn, or a room that we raise chickens, or a storehouse for straw or wood, or storehouse for wine or other drinks. And if they have the minimum requirement of a mezuzah, they need a mezuzah of yesh paitim, but some say they're exempt. So we put a mezuzah on all these places, so as long as they're big enough has to be 36 square feet, and we put a mezuzah without a blessing on a lot of these places. On a bathhouse and a tannery, because they smell bad, we don't put a mezuzah. That's considered disrespectful. But that is the laws of mezuzah. Where are you putting your mezuzahs up?
garage entry.
And your front door.
Front door.
All right, great. So you put it on the right side, entering it in. At the bottom of the top third. If you divide the doorpost, yeah, that's it. All right, perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, sure. All right, everyone have a great day.
All right.